with this review for the Space Wolves Codex, and I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, well, if he's reviewing the Codex, then perhaps I'll be collecting them. I think I may well be. I've always liked Space Wolves, and now the new Codex has come out, so new miniatures. I think now is about the best time there ever has been to collect Space Wolves. Always had a soft spot for them. I've seen a couple of armies painted up and they've looked very nice. Always wanted to do my own, so keep a look out for Space Wolves in the future. But in this video we will review the Codex, and that will give you an idea of what kind of direction I'm going to go if I put this army together. I've bought my Codex from gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop stuff at a discounted price, and at the moment they're doing 15% off all of Games Workshop stuff. If your order comes to over 100, you get an extra 5% off on top of that. And to the UK they're offering free postage as well, so a pretty good deal from them. That's where I've got the Codex from. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the Codex here, run through each of the entries, and then we'll talk about what kind of units I may well include, just give you my take on the Codex and the units. So we'll open up the Codex here. Again, lovely job that Games Workshop have done. The artwork on all of the Codexes is very, very nice indeed. Very atmospheric kind of theme to the Space Wolves. Very nice artwork here. And immediately that kind of colour scheme, the greys, the bone kind of colours, and then this glowing kind of semi-turquoise kind of blue colour coming through here. I mean, all that kind of colour scheme. That's almost a colour palette for you, an idea of what kind of colour scheme you could go for with your own force. Tiny little bit of red as well coming in to the image. This picture here really is why I think it's a good time to collect Space Wolves. Games Workshop have made a big move for Space Wolves here and given them their own flyer, and from what I've seen it looks pretty good. Another superb piece of artwork. Use these for getting your ideas for colour schemes and the way you want to put them together. Just giving you all the detail and the history of Space Wolves there. I've always liked this image. I think it was the one on the front cover of the old Battle Force, I think, old Codex. So there's the yellow's taken out of this one. If you notice, it's just got your Space Wolf grey, white, gold and red, or silvery gold and red, and no yellow. It's a different way of doing them. I do like that colour scheme. I'm not entirely sure about how I'll go about doing it, but that colour theme there for them is nice looking. Just running through the history of them here. Yeah, one thing that put me off Space Wolves was I thought, you know, you're going to have to paint them on sort of snowscape terrain, but you don't have to. I think I'm going to still stick to the grey urban theme. You know, Space Wolves fighting other planets, doesn't have to be snow, and the grey kind of look, you know, I think they'd still probably look alright if they were fighting on a snowscape, so I think it's doable. Excellent references here for your colours, for your shoulder pads. Quite a big Codex. It's not thin, it's a fair size. Lovely layout there. They've done nice miniature showcase, which is helpful for your painting. There's the flyer again, and then these really nice. You could really customise your Terminators nicely for the Space Wolves. Death Wolves here with their markings. Some nice, very big showcase that they've done here. Excellent stuff. Very nice. Got the war gear list here. We'll come back to that. Reference it as we need it. So I'm not going to dwell on every unit. I'm just going to sort of home in on the ones that I'm drawn to, and that will give you an idea of what direction I'm going to go. So the first entry is a Wolf Lord. The direction I think I'm going to go will be a hero themed army, and immediately I'm just going to flick you to the back here. So I want to take out a heavy weight of HQs. So I have a small army, and if you do that, it means you haven't got loads and loads of stuff to paint, which is another good thing. But look at the force organisation chart here. It's standard, but for HQ you can take 6 HQ slots. So even the Codex is geared towards you taking these heroes. I mean, the whole idea of Space Wolves, the sort of theme they want to go for is these heroes in the Force that go out and do great things and you know, defeat their foes. And on the battlefield, I want different heroes fighting across in different areas, and some of them passing into legend. I like that kind of idea. Don't want to make it a tiny army by all means. So I've got to juggle the cost here, because if you go for sort of heavy priced HQs, your army's going to be tiny, and I don't want to go in that direction. So Wolf Lord, you know, you could convert your own, but it's kind of standard Space Marine. So again, like I did with Blood Angels, I wanted to take units that were specific to them, and I want it to be the same for the Space Wolves. So Wolf Lord, you know, Space Marine Captain, similar, so I'll probably give him a miss. Ragnar Blackmane, just an older miniature, not really going to go in that direction. 200 points straight up for him, so I'm sure he's good, but I'm going to give him a miss as well. I am going to go down towards units that are you know, have a visual draw to them. Everyone's got their own taste, but I think I'll go towards units that I like the look of, and try and make the army work from there. Harold Deathwolf, yeah, he's an option. He looks pretty good for the rules for him, but the other option I'm drawn to, and that is Canis Wolfborn, and I have actually already got the miniature, so I think it's going to be Canis Wolfborn I'm going to go for. It's 185 points, so he's going to be the expensive HQ. For that, you're going to get Weapon Skill 5, which is good, Ballistic Skill 2, so don't expect him to be good at shooting, which is a surprise actually, Ballistic Skill 2. Strength and Toughness 5, which is very good. 3 wounds, Initiative 5 is very good, and 5 attacks, which is excellent. LD9, 3 up save, and then you can take Fenrisian Wolves up to 2 of them, which is a little bodyguard for him. I think it'd be a good idea. Does have the bolt pistol, frag and crack grenades, so even though he's cavalry mounted, he has those grenades, so it'll be alright going into cover. 2 wolf claws, and we'll just turn that up because they're not your standard lightning claw, which is the cool thing about Space Wolves. Wolf claw will give him +1 strength, so he'll be strength 6 as standard, which is nice strength, and they'll be AP 3, and they're shred, so he'll be re-rolling wounds as well. So 5 attacks, +1 for weapons, 6 attacks basic, and then 7 on the charge. That's a nice lot of attacks. And at weapon skill 5, and then shred. Be nice to apply them into other units, a marine killer. Monstrous creature as well, strength 6, so to quite happily take them on. Acute senses, counter attack, which is sort of the Space Wolf doctrine that they have throughout the Force, and then rampage as well. So if he's outnumbered, chuck him into unit 10 Space Marines, then he's going to get extra attacks there. Born of Wolves, Canis Wolfborn, North Fenrisian Wolves and Side Wolves in his unit reroll failed to hit rolls in close combat during an assault phase in which they charge. So your Fenrisian Wolves will be a bit better. They'll be rerolling there to hit rolls, which is a nice extra on top. It's 185 points. He'll push over. He'll be 201 if you take 2 Fenrisian Wolves. I think he's good enough. I like the miniature, so I think that will be the leader of the force there. The warlord traits will go into those a bit later on. Rune Priest, so it's like the Psyker for the standard Psyker for Space Wolves. I love the miniature for this one. He looks really, really good. So he'll be 60 points. He'll be able to take Biomancy, Demonology, Divination, Telekinesis, and then the Tempestus, which is the special psychic powers for Space Wolves. I do like this one. So he has a runic axe. We'll check that one out. It's +1 strength for him. AP 2, Force, Unwieldy, and Ward. A model equipped with this weapon has the Adamantium Wheel Special Roll. very good indeed. So the axe is pretty good. 2 attacks basic. He comes here with a plasma pistol, may well pay out the points for that, that's fine. So I'd probably go for a Master Level 2 Psyker. Psychic Hood, yeah, it's an option. Runic Armor's very expensive to do it for a low stat leader. And then, yeah, you can give him the plasma pistol, I'm sure that's 15 points. And it looks pretty good. So you're looking at about 100 points for him. And then you'll get the psychic powers. But I love the miniature for him. And that's another HQ slot that I could use up. Next is Najal Stormcaller. I'm sure he's pretty good. I think he'll do the job for me alright. And then the 180 points, then I think is just a bit too much to have him on top of Canis Wolfborn. That's why you get a nice choice here for Space Wolves as far as HQs go. So if you want to go down this route of having a hero-based army, you've got lots of choices, which is really good. Wolf Priest. Do not like the miniature there with the skull, and reminds me too much of other chaplains and things I've done. The same for Ulrich the Slayer. Not too keen on him, it's an older miniature. So we'd skip over him, I think, as well. Yeah, if you use these and you're watching this review, then mention it in the comments and say how you use them, if they work, if they don't work. You know, everyone's got different views and tastes, but you may well be using one of these very effectively. So leave that in the comments, and other Space Wolves players or people who are new to Space Wolves can read the comments, and then they can get their own ideas from there. Right, so then we've got a Wolf Guard Battle Leader, 50 points. This is a handy one. You've got some spare bits. You could kit this guy out and customise him yourself. It's giving you an option to create your own hero, which I think is a really good idea. 50 points, and for that you're actually going to get Weapon Skill and Ballistic Skill 5, 2 wounds, which is okay, Initiative 5, 3 attacks, and LD9. So that stat line for 50 points I think is very good indeed. What you have to be careful of is, and you can take wolves here, 2 Fenrisian wolves as a bodyguard, which is really good. But what you do have to be careful about is you start paying out for upgrades and then he becomes really expensive, and he's only 2 wounds. So I would perhaps go down the route of giving him a couple of upgrades and then just try and keep him below 100. So Runic Armor, you know, to give him 2+, you know, 25 points, that's a lot. You want him ready to bury him in a unit to make that unit just that bit better. So you give him a bolt gun, bother with that. You got melee, range, special issue, relics of the fangs. We can look at them. You can give him Terminator armor, but it will cost you 40 points. But for that, you will get your Terminator armor. You lose your grenades. You get your Terminator armor, 2+ save, 5+ in one. But you'll also get your Stormbolter and power weapon on top of that. So that's not too bad value in points. So for an extra, really, you're looking at the Terminator, 40 points, and then for 50 points you're getting an extra attack, an extra wound, Weapon Skill 5. I mean, that's a fair amount of points just to get that. So, getting the impressions, I'm reading through the Space Wolves Codex, you've got to be careful with upgrades, otherwise your army starts to shrink in size as you pay out for these. You can take Terminator weapons after that special issue War Gear Relics of the Fang. You may replace one ranged or melee weapon with a Storm Shield, 25 points. Terminator armor is not taken. You may take a Thunderwolf mount for 50 points. They're quite expensive, these. So, you know, he starts off at a good points cost. Let's have a look at the options you could give him. Again, in the comments, if you use a Wolf Guard Battle Leader, what's a cheap combination you go for? Effective, that's under 100 points. It'd be interesting to hear what you think. Ranged weapon is an option. He's ballistic skill 5. You know, you've got combi weapons there for 10 points, plasma pistol 15. Okay, not bad. Maybe take the plasma pistol 15 points. And then that would make him from 50, that would make him up to 65. And then like a power weapon or a frost sword. So 65, 85 if you took a frost sword. Let's just check it out. Frost sword. Got a feeling it's an extra. It's +1 strength, so strength 5. I mean, that's not bad. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. A frost sword. Even a frost axe. What would that cost you for a frost axe? 20 points still. That'll give you +2 strength. You'd be at strength 6 as standard. You'd be at AP2. Unwieldy. So I reckon plasma pistol, frost axe would be pretty good. You bury him in a unit. You know he's going to go last, but he's protected by all the other figures around him, and then he's going to strike out at strength 6, AP2, with 4 attacks, and then +1 if he charges, or +1 if it's counter attack. So I think that's an option. Under 100 points. So yeah, that's worth thinking about that one. As I said, we could go through loads here, but leave what kind of combinations you go for. I'd be interested to hear that, and also who you put him with, what kind of units you would add him to. I would imagine burying him in a unit and protecting him, and then he's got those attacks. It's pretty good. Right, Bojorn the Fell-Handed, 220 points, a lot of points for a Dreadnought. Again, I've already got a fair few HQs coming through, so probably leave him. Looks nice though, and I'm sure he's very good. Armour front is 13 for him. Weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 6. That's very, very good. 4 attacks. So for shooting and for hand-to-hand combat, I'm sure he's good. He's vulnerable. Assault cannon, he's going to hit his target. He's got a 5+ invuln save. May replace his assault cannon with plasma cannon, hellfrost cannon, twin laser cannon for either free of charge or just for 5 points. Relic of the Fang, mastercrafted shred, strength 10 AP2. Right. So I think it's pronounced Bjorn. The Fell-Handed is extremely good. Stat line's very good indeed. Okay. So then we're on to troops. I want to go for bound because I like the unique troops that you can get for Space Wolves. So I don't think there's any fear of going down the route of unbound because of the nice troop options that you can take for Space Wolves here. So Blood Claws are very cheap Space Marines. 12 points each. You're sacrificing weapon skill and ballistic skill here of 3 and... well, it's free for both. So I would immediately think I wouldn't go down the route of trying to equip them with shooting weapons. Gear them towards close combat. That's kind of what you see in the picture here. And then I think I would use them for massed attacks, as many attacks as possible. And then I don't think I would equip them too heavily with really nice weapons, because they are only weapon skill and ballistic skill 3. But for sort of cannon fodder type units, I know they're Space Marines, but for units large units you think are going to take casualties, then I would just do a nice big unit. You can actually take 15. There's 5 here, is 60 points, and then you can add an extra 10 on top of that. These guys have bolt pistol, chainsword as standard, frag and crack grenades, which is great. They have acute senses. They show no fear, counter attack. So they actually have rage here, which is very good. On the charge, they will get +2 attacks. So you're looking at a base of 4 each. And for a 12-point model, that's very good. They're going to be strength and toughness 4, and then 3+ save. So I imagine they can be quite effective. So I reckon I like the style of them. That kind of more wild sort of theme to them. They look pretty good. Next is Lucas the Trickster. He's 80 points. He has plasma pistol. in the points there, and a wolf claw. Weapon skill plus skill 5, 2 wounds, initiative 5, 3 attacks, 3+. It's pretty good for 80 points. He gets, when fighting a challenge, Lucas the Trickster's opponent suffers a -3 penalty to their weapon skill. So that's very good. Blood Claws hero, Lucas the Trickster can only join a unit of Blood Claws if Lucas the Trickster is included in attachment. Then he does not use up a force organisation slot, so interesting. The last laugh, if Lucas the Trickster is removed as a casualty whilst fighting in a challenge, which is what you're aiming to get him to do, both players roll off immediately. If the Space Wolf player wins, his opponent, Lucas the Trickster's opponent, is removed as a casualty. That is crazy. So it can kind of encourage you to make him a suicide unit almost. You go in, and even if you die, then you've got an even chance of destroying that character in the challenge. So he's interesting. I mean, you could choose your opponent's best character, charge in deliberately, and then submit the challenge, and then your opponent's got to think, well, if I fight in this challenge and kill him, then there's an even chance I'll die, and if he slinks out of the combat and stays out of it, then Lucas has done his job by keeping that really good HQ out of the fight. So he is an option. The miniature's quite nice as well. And then Rebellious, Lucas the Trickster and his unit may never use a leadership value higher than 8 for any tests. So interesting. Sticking with the unit, Blood Claws. And for 80 points is not too bad. Grey Hunters, really do like these. So they are 14 points each, standard marine. These guys come with bolt guns, frag crack grenades as standard. Wolf Guard pack leader comes with a chainsword. Counter attack and acute senses for them. So you can take close combat weapon. It's going to cost you 2 points to do that. So again, that's drawing me towards shooting for these guys. What's interesting actually is they have bolt gun, bolt pistol. You may take a close combat weapon plus 2 points, but it doesn't replace anything, so you'll keep the pistol. So it will actually help them get more attacks in close combat. So, I mean, you can see here from some of the poses, this guy here has got close combat weapon, his chainsword out, and then in the other hand he's got a bolter. So you've got that option of shooting and combat for them. One Grey Hunter might replace his bolt gun. And it doesn't have to be the leader here. You can actually give him a power weapon or a power fist. So that's interesting. One Grey Hunter may replace his bolt gun with a bolt pistol with a plasma pistol. It doesn't have to be the leader. It could be one of the other figures. So you've got some nice diversity with these. For every 5 models, you can take special weapons. One Grey Hunter detachment may take a Wolf Standard. Check out the Wolf Standard here. So Wolf Standard, everybody within 12. Reroll foul morale checks and pinning. In addition, all friendly units with the Space Wolf faction within 6 of the bearer gain +1 attack. So that's pretty good. It's 25 points to do it. And then you upgrade one Grey Hunter to a Wolf Guard pack leader. That'll give you +1 on his attack and leadership. So it's probably worth doing that for 10 points. And then that pack leader can take melter bombs, melee weapons, ranged weapons. And it's sort of standard Space Marine options here, plus the special Space Wolf weapons that they have. You can upgrade him. And this is interesting. The Wolf Guard pack leader, so you already paid 10 points for him. But you can replace his power armor, bolt pistol chainsaw, frag and crack grenade, terminator armor, storm bolter, power weapon, and it is 15 points. I like the uniqueness of that you can have a unit of regular Marines and then buried in there is a Terminator. Just for the look of it, I think it looks good, and for 15 points, gets the power weapon, and a Storm Bolter, that is a good deal. So I may well do that for Grey Hunters. Very good. And I can still put them in a drop pod. Drop pod can take Terminators. Takes up 2 spots. So you could do 8 of these guys and then 1 Terminator Wolf Pack Leader. Kit them out for shooting and for combat. Yeah, I think that's a good option there. You can take Rhino Razorback Drop Pod, Storm Wolf as a dedicated transport. So again, you could kit out like an Alpha Strike type unit here, similar to the Blood Angels, their Stern Guard, but maybe equip these guys. Maybe kind of sort of plasma I'm leaning towards. I think for these would be good. Right, so Grey Hunters, I would take them. Then moving along, just the way these kits are, they look really nice. All this specific sort of Space Wolf armour and the medallions and all the different artifacts, they look really good. Next up, Iron Priest. Don't like the model. Servitors, no, I don't think I'm going to go for a really mechanised type force with lots of ground kind of tanks and things. So Iron Priest Servitors, I think I'd leave out. Just trying to stick to the theme here. Wolf Scouts, I know they're good. Scouts here, but at weapon skill, ballistic skill 4. Very good. The actual Wolf Guard Pack Leader here has power armor 3+. This is interesting. They're going to infiltrate, and we'll just run through here because it sounds. They're actually 14 points each, so they're quite expensive for scouts. You can give them camo cloaks. He's only 10 points. Take the pack leader, and you're going to get power armor for that. So that's a good upgrade to take. You can equip him with melee weapons, ranged weapons. Give him melter bombs. Any Wolf Guard scout may replace his bolt gun with a shotgun, close combat weapon. Sniper rifle's a point. Up to 2 Space Wolf scouts may replace their bolt guns with plasma pistol power weapon. Okay, and you can give one of them heavy weapons or special weapons. So a little unit there, a little ambush unit, flanking unit, may well be effective, but I don't think I'm going to go for scouts for the Space Wolves. Not totally keen on the miniatures there. Right, Lone Wolf, and it's under Elite here. I think it looks like it's another opportunity for you to customise your own model. 20 points, which is very cheap starting point. You'll get weapon skill 5 for that. BS, strength and toughness all 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, and LD8 3+ save. So that's all right. For 20 points, that's very good. It comes with a bolt pistol, chainsaw, frame crack grenades as standard. Eternal Warrior, which is very good indeed. Fearless, which is very good. Feel No Pain, which is very good, and Monster Hunter. So that is very good indeed. A Glorious Death. Lone Wolf units are never scoring units. Pack of 1. You cannot be joined by units with the independent character. Lone Wolf units cannot be joined by units with the independent character special rule. You can take 2 Fenrisian Wolves, probably go for that. And then you give melee and ranged weapons, melter bombs. You can make him a Terminator, but it will cost you 30 points to do it, but for that he will get the Storm Bolter and the power weapon, so that's an option for you. And he can then take weapons from the Terminator weapons list. So again, you could tailor this guy and give him some decent upgrades. With Eternal Warrior and Fearless and Feel No Pain, and Monster Hunter, I'd maybe tempted to kit him out to take on that kind of target monsters. So Thunderhammer Storm Shield perhaps would be an option for him. Again, in the comments, say what kind of upgrades you do and how you use them, where you'd place him in your force, and then what his role is. Be interested to hear about that. A lot of ideas still floating around here at the moment for Space Wolves. Right, next up for elites is the new Space Wolves Dreadnought. I think he looks really nice. unique style to it. Axe and shield dreadnought looks really good. I do like the sculpt of this one. He's 95 points, which is cheap to start off with. Standard line here for standard stats for a dreadnought. Comes with multi-belter, power fist built in Stormbolt, all standard. He has the searchlight. And you can give him the different upgrades. If you come down here, you can upgrade him to a venerable. That will take you to 120 points, and then you may replace the multi-melter power fist with a Fenrisian great axe and a blizzard shield for another 25 points. That will take you to 145 points. That's quite expensive. You'll get venerable. He'll be at weapon skill and ballistic skill 5, which is very good, and that's about it on there. So now we need to have a look at these weapons. So a Fenrisian great axe. Is ×2 strength, AP2 and mastercrafted. Okay, so that is good. That is very good. Throw him into combat against the toughest of monstrous creatures or vehicles. Low amount of attacks. He's only got 2, 3 on the charge. We will look up the blizzard shield. It's just here. Strength of the user. So strength 6. AP2. Melee. So he'll get +1 attack here for the axe and for the shield, so that makes him 3 attacks, 4 attacks on the charge. Even if he loses his axe, gets blown off by something, the shield itself will still give him AP2, strength 6, so that's good. And then shield gives him a 3+ invuln, again, that strike his frontal armour, so that looks like shooting and for close combat. So this guy is actually really good. So yeah, as you see it in the picture, here is how I think I'd go for it. To move him up the table, he can resist some shooting attacks. He's got a 3+ invuln, so yes, you could move him on foot, or possibly a drop pod may work well for him. We'll have to see about that, but I like the miniature and those upgrades sound really good. Murder Fang is an option you can go for. It's 135 points. Looks quite good. Not too keen on the head here. Generally the same stat line. Furious Charge, which is good. It will not die, which is good. Rage, Rampage on top of that. On top of that, he ignores the effects of Crusade and Crucial. So yeah, he's good at 135 points. Murder Claws. He has 2 of them. Yeah, it doesn't say it here, but he has 2. One's got a Stormbolter, other's Heavy Flamer, and it's Strength 7 AP2, Mastercrafted and Shred. So yeah, he is good. He looks pretty cool. If you're going to go for loads of Dreadnoughts, then chuck Murder Fang in there. 135 points. He's actually pretty good. So, moving on to Wolf Guard. So you take these as elites. You're just taking these Marines here, and then you're able to upgrade them. Good thing about Wolf Guard is an extra attack. So they're going to have a base of 2 attacks. They're 18 points each. So you're going to be paying another 4 points extra for that extra attack there. Maybe for a bigger unit, taking the Wolf Standard would be more value, but extra, yeah, maybe it would be for 4 points a time for these. But you can give them options here. You can give them bolt guns, no charge. You can take melee and ranged weapons, and it's any model. So you can specialise these guys. You can equip them either for combat weapons or for shooting. So there's good flexibility in there. Any model may take melter bombs. So that's very flexible there. You give a squad of 5, give them all melter bombs, and they'll mash through vehicles. very good. Any model may take jump packs at 3 points each. You can give them bikes for 7 points, and then you can give them all these different transport options. So again, I think they're an option. Be careful about how. I think I have to be careful about how much I upgrade them if I do take them. There's no option here for giving them Terminator weapons. There's going to have to be a unit of specialised Marines. But I'm sure there's some really good combinations you can come up with for these. A small little crack unit I think might do well. I think they would be pretty good. Right, next is Wolf Guard Terminators. They're 99 points, you get 3 of them. They're actually 33 points each, so Games Workshop will continue with this sort of cheaper Terminator option for the Space Wolves. They have standard stat line, and they have Stormbolter power weapon as standard. It's not power fist but power weapon, so which is alright. So you can add more. I'd probably take a unit of 4 or 5. I think if I get a set of 5, I could do a unit of 4, and then with the spare Terminator I could then add him to another unit as an upgrade. Any model may replace their Stormbolter and power weapon with a Thunderhammer Storm Shield. 15 points to do that. That's pretty good. That's not too bad. And then 2 Wolf Claws, 15 points. But Thunderhammer Storm Shield's quite cool. You can maybe get a couple of those. You can take weapons from the Terminator weapons list. For every 5 models in the unit, one model may choose one of the following. You can replace the Stormbolter with a heavy flamer, or assault cannon at 20 points, or take a cyclone missile launcher. So yeah, you can take shooting weapons for them. Yeah, it's an option. And then you can put them in the different transports as well. I'm thinking if I'm going to put them in a transport, one of these, like a Stormwall for example, maybe not give them lots of shooting weapons. If they're ground based and at the back of the table defend an objective for example, then maybe I would go towards more taking things like assault cannons, cyclone missile launcher, that kind of thing, where they can contribute from range from turn 1 kind of onwards. So yeah, Wolf Guard Terminators, I would like to take those in the force. I mean, these poses here and the sculpting on these is very, very nice. This guy does look good with the assault cannon. So I'm sure there's some good combinations you can do for them. Jack Rockfist, he is 115 points. I do like the sculpt on him. And again, that would match up nicely for these. If I take a unit of just 4 of them, then the 5th one can be him. For 115 points, though, is a lot. You know, Terminator's 40 points. You're paying extra 75 points. What are you getting for that? Well, he's weapon skill, ballistic skill 5, strength 5, 2 wounds, 3 attacks, which is good, LD 9, 2 up save. He's stubborn. And then for his weapons, the Anvil of Fenris. Jack Rockfist can only join a unit of Wolf Guard or Wolf Guard Terminators. If he is included, then he does not use up a slot on the Force Organisation chart. Okay, that's fine. Grimnar's Champion, he must issue or accept a challenge whenever possible. In addition, he re-rolls all failed to hit rolls when taking part in a challenge. So you want to, again, it's that gearing it towards being a hero kind of army. You throw him in and then he's going to be reliable, he's going to re-roll. And he misses. He has the Anvil Shield, which gives him a 3+ invuln, Eternal Warrior, and Hammer of Wrath. So he'll stick around. Again, you can throw him in against the toughest of opponents. Okay, pretty good. The Foe Hammer, he can throw it, and it will be at strength 8, no, strength 5, strength 10, AP 2, assault 1, and then in combat it will be double the strength for AP 2, concussive, and unwieldy. So yeah, he's pretty good. Pretty good. So that's another option, another potential hero that can be added to the force. Do like the look of the miniature as well. Right, then we've got Swift Claws here. Yeah, they're an option. They're 20 points each. They're weapon skill, ballistic skill 3. So they may be handy. A small unit might be good for grabbing objectives, and for 60 points, there's hardly anything. So yeah, there is an option there to add a bit of speed, objective grabbing for them. And if you didn't give them any upgrades, you'd be looking at just 60 points for that. They get rage as well. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, okay, so that's an option there. Maybe shy away from a little bit, you know, Space Marine bikes is a bit standard. But I'm sure you can kit them out and make them look nice and customised for Space Wolves. Moving on, Rhino. I think I'm trying to stay away from Rhinos. Razorbacks, it's too standard really. Drop Pod's going to be an option. If I put in, if I want to drop some units in or a Dreadnought, then I think it's Drop Pod would be the way that I would go for Space Wolves. I know they don't like teleporting, so the theme behind them goes. So I think Drop Pod may well be an option. Do like using Drop Pods, so that may well feature in an army. So we've got the new miniature here, the Storm Wolf, the new flyer. Space Wolves needed one. I'm glad Games Workshop didn't just give them just one of the other flyers that's already out. They've got their own specific flyer, and I think it looks very, very nice indeed. The sculpture looks really good, and by the looks of it, it's armed to the teeth as well, which is very good. So Storm Wolf, it's fast attack. It's 215 points. It is expensive. So the question is, Storm Raven's 200 points. For an extra 15 points, what are you getting as standard? Is it as good? Ballistic skill 4. Armour all round is 12. Hull points 3. So on the same kind of stats as a Storm Raven. But this one can carry 16 models, which is that's a big transport capacity there. And he has one access point at the front. Okay. Twin linked Hellfrost cannon as standard. We'll have a look at that. This is one of the unique weapons for Space Wolves. So, just on page 95. So, Hellfrost cannon, you've got two options here: dispersed and focused. It's range 24, but for a flyer, you know, you're going to be able to get close to your target. So, dispersed is strength 6, AP 3 blast. Okay, so it's a marine killer. Hellfrost, when a model suffers one or more unsaved wounds, it must pass a separate strength test for each wound suffered or be removed from play. It's got potential of taking something out there that's got multiple wounds. So it's a good rule. You have to remember that rule as you're playing in the game. Then you can focus here, and that will give you strength 8, AP 1, and again it's still Hellfrost. So that's a good weapon. That is a good weapon. That's the weapon sitting on top there. What else do you get? You get a twin linked las cannon. You get 2 twin linked heavy bolters on top of that as well. Okay. So the good thing about that Hellfrost cannon is you've got blasts. You can take out infantry, but you can fire it as a single shot, which means you'll be able to target it at the flyers as well, which is very important. You got your las cannon as standard, heavy bolters. So it's geared here towards taking on pretty much everything. Ceramite plating is the same as a Storm Raven. Assault vehicle, which is key, and it does come powered with machine spirit as well, which is a handy rule to have. Your options here: you may replace the twin linked heavy bolters with Skyhammer missile launcher or 2 twin linked multi melters. Well, I know 2 twin linked multi melters would be very deadly. I know it's 20 points, and you usually loathe to add points on, but to get that, to zoom right up to something and offload two twin linked multi melter hits plus what you've already got, that is nasty firepower that you can use there. Or Skyhammer, and that doesn't cost you. I just looked that up here. Skyhammer missile launchers, range 60, strength 7, AP 4, and heavy 3. It's not twin linked. So Skyhammer's alright, nice range on there, but not really too much of a bother for flyers. Yeah, may well be tempted to take the multi-melters. Love the multi-melter, and to take 2 of them, and they're both twin-linked. Is very reliable, high caliber shooting. I mean, it'll wreck vehicles. So, just have to be careful with him. The points, that would push him up to 235 points, which is a lot. But Stormwolf, yes, love the model, love the rules, so Stormwolf is definitely an option. Right, next up is Thunderwolf Cavalry. It's fast attack choice. I've heard some people say they don't like them. I actually like them. I think they look really good. So 120 points. You actually get 3 of them. And that includes... It includes the Wolf Pack Leader in there. Yeah, the Thunderwolf Cavalry Pack Leader. Very good. Stat line here, Weapon Skill, Ballistic Skill 4, Strength 5 and Toughness 5. Very, very good indeed. 2 wounds, very, very good. Initiative 4 attacks, which is extremely good. And then Leadership 9. So these guys are very, very good indeed. So Thunderwolf mount, they become cavalry, very good. All close combat attacks made by a model with Thunderwolf Cavalry have rending, very, very good. And then their stat scarp is already included in their stat line here. So as standard, they're going to get a ton of attacks and rending and strength for toughness 5. And it's 40 points for that. Any model may replace their bolt pistol with a bolt gun or a plasma pistol. I would gear these guys towards combat, not to prance around shooting, but geared up for combat, so I wouldn't take anything from there. You could give them melter bombs. That's a cheap option. I thought about this. Instead of paying out lots of points for close combat weapons, you know, power fist, thunder hammers, your points start going up and up and up. You could have them for taking on light infantry with their high strength, lots of attacks, rending. You know, they'd be alright. And toughness, you know, they'd last well. And then if you do come across vehicles, then the cheap way out is just to give them all melter bombs at 5 points each. And you can just plant those on vehicles and still do lots of damage. Plus, yeah, and you can even just give a couple of the melter bombs and the rest of them hitting at strength 5, you know, on rear armour, they would do pretty well. Let's just have a look at melee weapons here, because you're paying your standard points for melee weapons, but you've got a good baseline of stats to work with, you see what I mean? Here, just as we take a look at some melee weapons. Probably not take power weapon. Let's just make sure they've got... Yeah, they do come with a bolt pistol as standard. I'm thinking of frost swords. That's going to bump your strength up to +1, I believe, for a frost sword. So frost sword will be +1. That's good. I would be tempted to go for a mixture of AP3, AP2. AP2, you know, may well be a wise decision. But again, if you're going to rend, then it's going to be at AP2. So, and that's for free as part of the stat line. Frost axe is 20 points. I like the frost axe. It'll be +2 strength. So it'll be strength 7 as standard. So you know, it'd be good for taking on vehicles, monstrous creatures, and so on. It's 20 points to do it. But that stat line, that number of attacks, is the key there. 4 attacks basic, 5 on the charge. You know, your points are well spent. I love the look of the axes for these guys. What also looks good for them is the storm shields. 15 points to take a storm shield. You know, that's a fair amount there. So it depends how you want to use these. I'm going down the route of taking Canis Wolfborn. Maybe take these just as a bodyguard. So expect them to die, absorb hits, and then the attacks they make be a bonus. If you had a bigger unit of 6, then you could bury in some guys with some good upgrades, some axes, and storm shields. Yes, would be an option. Thunderhammer's just 30 points. Wolf Claws 30 points. Power Fist 25. So, not sure about the configuration there. Again, be interested to hear from you what you think of that one, what combination you go for. Fenrisian Wolves next, and they're pretty good. They're 8 points each. What is annoying for them, would have liked that you could take a unit and then you're allowed to add it to another unit, so you could surround a unit with wolves. Or for these Thunderwolf cavalry, that you could add 1 or 2 or more Fenrisian Wolves as upgrade. It'd be nice to have these wolves and then surrounded by a load of others, but you can't really do that, which is annoying. So I probably wouldn't take them as a unit by themselves. Next is Sky Claws. It's just the jump infantry for Space Wolves. They're only 15 points each, but again, you're going to lose your weapon skill, ballistic skill there. They get the rage, and then you can do your various upgrades for them. Probably not go down the route of jump infantry here. I may well transport what I have in the Space Wolf flyers, so not sure about Sky Claws. Land Speeders is regular Space Marine, so I'll leave that kind of thing to the Imperial Fists. And it's just, I think it's just the standard kit that you can give them. Yeah. Right, the Stormfang gunship. This is the heavy support choice for the Space Wolves flyers. You've got 2 configurations that you could do, which again I think is good. 220 points, so an extra 5 points. What do you get on top of that? Same stat line here. You can actually put 6 models inside, which is good. So immediately I'm thinking of kind of a support vessel that's going to carry a small squad that you can, later on in the game, you can drop that squad off. So a cheap, very, very cheap squad that you can drop off somewhere, secure an objective, troops perhaps, and you can keep them protected inside this. If it crashes and burns, you know, it's only a small squad, there's no big loss. Stormfang has 1 access point at the rear of the hull, so again it makes sense, you get disembark from there. Weapons, Hellfrost Destructor, which is mounted in the front. Let's have a look here at this one. I'm excited to see how good this is. Hellfrost Destructor. So similar to the Hellfrost Cannon, you've got 2 options. Dispersed then will give you strength, same range, strength 6, AP 3, Hellfrost, large blast. So that's a good weapon. And then the focused is the same up here, but it is a lance weapon, so you're going to knock heavy armor down to 12. Not melted though, so you're still going to need a, so say you knock armor down to 12, strength 8, you're still going to need a 4 or more to do any kind of damage, so Hellfrost Destructor is okay. It's alright. It's not too bad. I still get the Hellfrost Cannon, it's good value. What else do you get? You get 2 twin linked heavy bolters, okay, 2 storm strike missiles. That's these big ones here. These are 1 shot only. 95, let's have a look. They are range 72, strength 8, AP 2 and concussive. So similar to the Blood Angel ones. So okay, not bad. It's a shame those missiles are fire once and you don't get them back. So Stormfang. Let's have a look here. You may replace the heavy bolters with, so that's the same, Skyhammer missile launchers, twin linked multi-melters. So I'm actually almost beginning to rate the Stormwolf more than the Stormfang. I mean, the Destructor gun's not as amazing as I thought it would be. You can take the multi-melters, but that's going to push up your cost to 240 points. You can replace the Storm Strike missiles with the las cannon, but that will cost you 15 points to do that. So for this guy, probably just keep the missiles and then take Sky Hammers and then just have them sort of sitting further back and supporting from range with those, the 2 missiles, the disposable ones, and the Sky Hammers, their range 60. So Yeah, there's possibility there. I think it's still alright, roughly the same kind of points, not too bad, and just another option for you. But definitely the Storm Wolf, and you want your unit to burst forwards and get nice and close to fire your twin link multi-melters, and then disembark unit and charge from there. So I rate both of them, but Storm Wolf I think just edges it here. Long Fangs is like Space Marine Devastators, so I don't want to go down that route for them. Too static, just and they sit there. That's not the sort of theme that I want the Space Wolves to want to be an assault base. So it's similar to the Blood Angels in a way, but to have their own theme to them, hero-based kind of thing. Vindicator, Whirlwind, standard Space Marine. Nothing against these, but just not the theme that I want to go down. For Space Wolf Force, they look nice though, painted up in Space Wolf colours. Again, Predator, Land Raider, standard Space Marine. The other types of Land Raiders there as well. Logan Grimnar, he's Lord of War anyway, and he's 250 points. I'm sure he's very good, but it's just too big an HQ to put in the list. I'll probably leave him out. So that's the units. There's some formations here, great company. You need a Wolf Lord. Well, I don't really want to go down that route, so I think this is going to rule this one out. You need 2 units of Long Fangs, 3 units of either Blood Claws, Swift Claws, Sky Claws. You need Scouts, Grey Unders, Wolf Guard, Battle Leader. So, if you're doing, it's quite rigid there. There's not much leeway. You have to take all these. So, I don't think I'll go down that route. And that looks like it. It's the only formation you can take for them. Space Wolves do look really nice. These units look green. Terminators look really nice. And then these different heroes and so on that you can take. Love the look of Space Wolves. Armies that I've seen that have been done look very nice. So, be a nice option to take. Lovely spread there, taking on the Necrons. So Space Wolves, Fenrisian Wolves, many special characters have the option of taking Fenrisian Wolves and Cyborgs upgrades if taken. They and the character are treated as a single unit, it's just like a bodyguard, and it just gives you the details there. They stick with the character if he leaves. If an independent character is killed whilst part of the unit is surviving wars, thereafter part of the unit, they cannot leave it, they go with the unit they're with. If the independent character is killed and he's not in a unit, do not remove any surviving wolves, and the unit is not completely destroyed until all the wolves have been removed as casualties. These wolves cannot join other units. Another independent character can join them, but they are not his upgrades. He cannot take them with him if he then joins another unit. Right, fair enough. Warlord traits. Let's have a look at these. So we get a mixed response in the codexes for these, but for Space Wolves, so Saga of the Warrior Born. When fighting in a challenge, Warlord rerolls all failed to hit rolls. That's pretty good. But not always going to be in challenges in games, so that's okay. Saga of the Wolf Kin, and if I remember rightly, that is the option for Canis Wolfborn. Saga of the Wolf Kin, yeah. So that means he will have all friendly units in the Space Wolves faction, consisting entirely of models of either the beasts or cavalry, have stubborn. So that will be his Wolfguard cavalry. In addition, if a friendly unit within the Space Wolves faction within 12 of the Warlord, at the start of the assault phase, all models with either beasts or cavalry unit have Furious Charge until the end of the phase. That's great. So he gets Furious Charge, and those cavalry get Furious Charge as well. It's an extra plus on their strengths. Imagine now you take the Frost Axe, you get Strength 5, Strength 7, Strength 8 on the charge and AP 2. Next one, so that's alright. I think that one's okay, and you get it as standard for Canis Wolfborn. Anyway, Saga of the Beast Slayer. The Warlord has the Monster Hunter special rule, it's not bad. Saga of the Bear. The Warlord and his unit have Feel No Pain 6+, that's okay, not very good. Saga of the Hunter. The Warlord has the Outflank and Stealth, that's pretty good. And then Saga of Majesty, the Warlord, and all friendly units of the Space Wolves faction within 12 who must re-roll failed morale checks. Okay, that's okay. So pretty good. That's not bad. I'd be half tempted to roll on that, but I've got Canis Wolfbond, so he gets that. Anyway, we sort of looked at the weapons. We've covered the unique ones for Space Wolves here, so we don't need to cover that. We've seen the melee weapons. There's some really good ones there for Space Wolves. So I think shooting and up close shooting and combat will be the way to go. I think with the Space Wolves Force, I think that fits in with the hero themed army that I'm going for. Just looking here, I've covered everything really there. Armour, vehicle equipment, that's all fine. Relics of the Fangs, these are little extras you can take. The cost of them is just right at the start. Sometimes in some codexes they're very expensive. Right, it's got a mixed cost here. Let's have a look. The Armour of Russ gives you 2+ save, 4+ invuln, and when you're fighting a challenge, your opponent suffers -5 to their initiative. That is very good, but it will cost you 35 points. Okay, so that's all right. 2+ save, 4+ invuln. I mean, you know, you're going to pay a fair amount of points to upgrade to a Terminator, but you can keep what you have. You don't have to lose your combat weapons and so on, and then you'll still keep you'll be able to chase opponents and run them down. Terminator army, you've got slow and purpose where you can't do that. But so that's handy. You become virtually Terminator, but your invuln save's better, and your opponent's going to suffer a real big -5 penalty to the initiative. You know, you're going to strike first. If you've got something like an axe where you're going last, well, your opponent's going to go last as well. So, Armour of Russ looks like a pretty good upgrade to take if you want to spend out the points for it, and it may well be an option for you. Next is the Bite of Fenris. So it's a shooting weapon here. Hell Winter Bolt is range 24, strength 4, AP 5. Hellfrost, okay, it's not bad. Flame Tide Bolt is strength 5, AP 4, ignores cover, rapid fire. So that's pretty good. So that's not too bad. Hellfrost I don't see as being too reliable, so probably not go down that route. The Bite of Fenris will cost you 10 points. It's not too bad, but probably wouldn't bother with that one. Right, next one is Black Death, and it is a melee weapon. +2 strength, AP 2, so we're looking at a Frost Axe. The Bearer of Black Death gains +3 attacks for duration of any subphase in which he is locked in combat that contains one or more enemy models than friendly ones. If you're outnumbered, he goes mad, +3 attacks. For Black Death, so Frost Axe is 20. How much is it for that? Black Death is 25. That's very, very good. If you're considering you're already paying 20, for extra 5 points you're going for +3 attacks in any fight subphase while he's locked in combat that contains more enemy models than friendly ones. He doesn't have to have yeah, that's very good. It's very good, and it's any subphase. It's not like the first turn or when he charges in, it's every fight. So that is a worthwhile upgrade, that one. So I can imagine giving the Thunderwolf Cavalry, the pack leader there, this weapon. Gives them a ton of attacks. If they're outnumbered, because it's models, Thunderwolf Cavalry aren't going to be too big, you know, 3 of them. More often than not, they will be outnumbered. Helm of Jurfast, or Jurfast. Model wearing the Helm of Jurfast rerolls failed to hit rolls. Okay, and in addition, the wearer's shooting attacks have ignores cover. Okay, and how much for that? That's 20 points. So you get to reroll hits in combat, and your shooting attack save ignores cover. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Rerolling to hits is a pretty, makes them reliable. Whoever you're going to give it to, it's going to make them pretty reliable. So the impression I'm getting here is if you do have spare points, there's some decent little upgrades you can take here. Black Death, very impressed with. Armoured Rust is pretty cool. Helm of Durfast is good as well. Fangs of the Ice Wolf is next. So +1 strength, AP free. It's Health Frost, which it's not too reliable, I don't think, but that's in there anyway, and it's rending on top of that. So when you cause a Health Frost hit, it will be a rending hit as well. Okay, and to take that, the Fangs of the Ice Wolf will cost you 25 points. So it's like a frost sword, but it's rending and Hellfrost on top of that. So again, pretty good. The Wolfenstone. The bearer of the Wolfenstone, his unit have Furious Charge, and in addition, the bearer has Rage. So the Wolfenstone, that will cost you 40 points. That's expensive. That's very expensive indeed. So you gain Furious Charge, and the bearer has Rage. So I think that's very costly for what you get. So, but out of all those, I think those upgrades are very, very good. I have to bear those in mind. There's some very decent upgrades you can take there, and remember to use them whilst you're in the game as well. There's no point in taking the upgrade and you forget about all these little extras that you get with it. Right, Tempestus Discipline. I'm glad that the Psychers have got their own psychic powers that they can use. You can take others, but if you've got a Rune Priest or whatever Psyker, then these are the ones you can take. So Primaris power, it's the standard one he comes with. It's a Witch Fire power, and it is Warp Charge 1, it's Strength 7, Range 18, Assault 3, and Shock. For each hit to roll, make a roll of a 6, with Living Light, and the target suffers 2 additional hits, unless those to hit rolls are snapshots. So pretty good there. Assault 3, you're probably not going to get that 6, you may well do. It's quite reliable, there's no AP to it, so that power, it's alright. Not bad, but not too impressive, and quite short range as well. Right, next one, Stormcaller. Stormcaller is a blessing that targets a Psyker and his unit. The target unit has the Shrouded special, so you can protect units. You deep strike unit in, Rune Priest, and gives them Shrouded. That's pretty good. Or you've got a unit at the back of the table trying to protect it, give them Shrouded. I'm sort of learning with Psychers, you need to have them so they're flexible. You need to have your Psyker roll up his powers, and you choose where you want to put him in the force. You know, depending on his powers, he's going to have different roles. So bear that in mind. So Shrouded, yeah, that's not bad. Next one, Tempest's Wrath, is a malediction that targets a single unit within 18. Whilst the power is in effect, models in the target suffer -1 penalty to their ballistic skill. Treat all terrain, as even open ground, as difficult terrain. In addition, unless they're immobilised, all models in the target unit have jump, or jetpack, or jet bike, or flying monster creature, fly or skimmer, must immediately take a dangerous terrain test. So it seems alright. That's okay. Nice on ballistic skill, and then slowing them down a little bit. That's alright. Not bad. Not too impressive these so far. You want a parry that's really good. Thunderclap is a Nova with aim in range 12. It's Strength 3, Assault 2d6. Again, not too impressed with that. Strength 3, no AP. Yeah, no, not particularly good. Next one, Murderous Hurricane, Warp Charge 2. It's a Witchfire power. It's Large Blast, Rending, and Strength 4, Range 18. It's going to cost you 2 charge points to do it, but that's pretty good. You know, I'm just thinking, you know, you could take out a few with it. Rending's pretty good. It's okay, not amazing, but pretty good. Fury of the Wolf Spirits, Warp Charge 2. It's a Witchfire. Each time this power is manifested, the Psyker shoots using both of the profiles given below, one at a time, in any order. Both attacks must target the same unit. You fire at the same unit, but you actually get both of these profiles. First one is Strength 6, Assault 4, no AP. The next one is the same range, 18, Strength 5, AP2, Assault 2, and Precision Shot. So that's pretty good. You can really try it. It's not a focus switch power though. It's alright. Pretty good. Jaws of the Wolf Lord, another Warp Charge 2 power. This one is a focus switch 5 power. Targets a single non-vehicle unit within 18. A model hit by Jaws of the Wolf, Wild Wolf, must take an initiative test. Monstrous creatures automatically pass. If the test is passed, nothing happens. If the test is failed, the model is removed from play. Okay, so that can be deadly. Initiatives test. So something low initiative. So say it's going to have to be something like initiative 4 or worse. Then they could be removed from play. And it's focus switch fire, so it's not bad. But again, yeah, these powers are alright. There's a lot of average ones in there. But I like the idea of with the Psychers. And again, I think it's like depending on who you're playing against. You have your Rune Priest. He's got access to Biomancy, Demonology, Divination, Telekinesis, and then Tempestus. So, yeah, depending on who you're playing against, you can take powers from these different disciplines. So, yeah, there's flexibility of them, which is what I like about the Rune Priests and Psychers in general for the Space Marines. So yeah, that's an option there. You may well use it in some games. Not too impressed by it, but play a few games and you'll see how well it works. I would go, because some of these powers aren't too good, I wouldn't take the risk of just doing Mastery Level 1. So I would take that Mastery Level 2 just to try and give yourself a Primaris and then at least 2 of these out of 6 to give him some depth to the powers that he has. So that's that there, and then as I mentioned earlier, the detachment there gives you the option for these HQs, and other HQs don't occupy a slot, and some are elites and things as well, so a hero based army is definitely something that you can do. I'm going to try and stick to this. Didn't mention it here. You can re-roll your Warlord traits table before deployment, roll, and also Cunning of the Wolf. Before deployment, roll a d6 for each unit, adding +2 to the result. If you're troops and you've been joined by an independent character on a 6+, you can add 2 to it. That unit has the outflank special rule. In addition, at the start of each of your turns after the first, you may select one unit from this detachment that is in reserves. The unit automatically passes its reserve roll to arrive this turn. So, an interesting little option there. Adds a bit of adds a nice option to your force there potentially. So that's good. So that's it. You've just got your tactical objectives there, one specifically for the Space Wolves, and then you've got your summary of the Wolves. They have done a fold out page here nicely for you. So that's the review for Space Wolves Codex. I like the look of the army. I like the look of the units that you can take. I love the theme, the colour scheme, and then the actual theme that I'm going for. Sort of a hero-based, shooting, close combat, assault-based, similar to Blood Angels, but in a very strong style of their own. I think Space Wolves, you know, if we get around to doing them, may well be a nice army to take. I always liked them. I always would like to have had an army of Space Wolves. And if I do hero-based, you know, I can keep the numbers down. It wouldn't be too much to paint. You know, Blood Angels are done now. Orcs are coming along very well, so I think it may well be a possibility that in the future Space Wolves may feature on the channel, which I think would be a good thing. So that's the Space Wolves Codex. If you're an experienced Space Wolves player, then by all means leave your comments below for others to read. I'll read through them, and then anyone else that plays Space Wolves, perhaps there's people who will be interested in starting them up, then they'll be happy to read the advice and comments on there. So that's the review for Space Wolves. Hope to see them in the future. Always like Space Wolves. They have a nice look to them, nice style, and I think I've found a nice theme for the Force potentially in the future. So there it is, Space Wolves Codex. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time. bye.